Hey everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening for our campfire chat. This is our I don't know, I've lost count now. We're about 5 or 6 conversations into this summer series, and tonight we are joined by Kim Strege, who is a medical student at St. Louis University. And Kim, I'm going to let you introduce yourself a little bit and share how you got connected with the Nevis Outreach community. And then we can talk about what started last summer and what we're in progress for on skin fragility.
Absolutely. So hi, very honored to be here tonight and talk with you guys. My name's Kim. I am a med student at SLU, like Lauren said. I was first privileged to get involved with NEVIS outreach. I took a couple gap years in between my undergrad and med school years, working with Dr. Coughlin in St. Louis. And she's obviously involved with this community. I got involved in NEVIS outreach with her. And then through there, I kind of got plugged in with everyone and started to learn more about CMN and really wanted to learn more and became really inspired by mostly you guys, and continued to work with Dr. Coughlin and everyone else involved, and just want to learn more and do more research to find out more about CMN.
That's great. Kim, tell us a little bit about your conference experience last year as we gathered in St. Louis. Like, how did that impact your, um, as you learned about the community, but then also from a research perspective, what you were able to accomplish there, and just kind of what kind of personal impact that made on you as well?
The 2024 NEVIS Outreach Conference was incredible. For me, it was the first time that I went to a patient advocacy organization conference. And so it was really cool to see this community, which is a rare disease, but to see everyone come together, and the bonds that everyone made with each other, having this shared identity, and shared cause, and just seeing that whole group um, being together was really impactful. Um, just seeing the bonds that everyone was able to make with one another and how you grow up together. And Neva's Outreach has clearly been doing such a good job of connecting these people, connecting them for years or even for their first time. And so for me to see just the bonds that people are able to make, it was really, really cool, for a rare, but for a rare disease and making such a big impact. And then, so from more of a research perspective, I've been helping out with the Nevis outreach or the Nevis Owners Outcomes Registry. And so we were able to start doing some more groundwork there. And fortunately, we got a lot of help from the community when we were starting to make that registry, and we wanted input from the community so that we were able to tailor it to um, the needs and the thoughts, more specific to getting this outreach community. So it's really cool being able to hear specifically from other people. I mean, there's obviously a big difference between reading a literature paper and actually hearing from someone what they deal with on a day-to-day basis. And that's honestly kind of how we also started talking about the Skin Fragility Project, because there was literally the last paper that talks about skin fragility and skin erosions and ulcerations in Neva's skin is from 1999. So we wouldn't have known that was a problem if it hadn't been for Neva's outreach, and just everyone talking about shared experiences that they have.
Yeah, that's so interesting, and I'll be quick to point out that Kim and Lily and so many other medical students have worked so hard to help us get NOR kind of off the ground. I know Kim has spent many hours with our questionnaires, and now with as we're in the implementation phase now with REDCap and getting all those data points collected. So I'm just so thankful, Kim, for your work on that project. I know I kind of have a front row seat to all the work that you put into that. So I just want to say again, thank you so very much for all your work on that. And it's interesting that you said the last paper for skin fragility was 1999. So like bring me along to like we recognize this was a problem that had been under researched at the conference last year. So what has happened since then, and what do you see on the horizon for this project?
Absolutely. So when we were first starting our conversations for the registry, we wanted to make sure that we were asking questions specific to the concerns of Nevis owners. And something that kept coming up was this idea of skin fragility, how someone's Nevis skin in particular would tear much more easily from bumping into, let's say, a rounded surface instead of a hard edge. And so that's when we started to do more of our literature search. And that's when we found that they hadn't talked about it since 1999. So we wanted to find a way to identify, is this a problem that's present in the community? Um, and how can we quantify that to show that this is actually affecting the majority of Nevis owners? And so we started to create a survey that patients would fill out about skin fragility. Um, we made There were a couple phases to this project. Thanks to the Nevis Outreach community, we were able to make it through 3 phases at this point out of 4. Phase 1, we heard from the Nevis Outreach community what are the main concerns, and then we also brought in our expert panelists to narrow down some key concepts and some key ideas that we wanted to identify in the survey. And then in phase 2, our team worked together to narrow this down into specific ideas, into something that could be answered in a questionnaire format. Phase 3 is where we were able to bring it to the Nevis Outreach Conference, and we were very thankful to the Nevis outreach community for participating in this project and giving us some very valuable data that we needed in order to progress this survey further so that we can really show that skin fragility is an issue impacting Nevis owners. And that data that we have right now is invaluable. It has helped us get through phase 3 of survey validation. And now, thanks to that information that we have, we were able to make more improvements to the survey. We feel confident with it moving forward, and we are hoping to incorporate it into the Nevis Owners Outcome Registry to continue to collect more data that we can eventually report on.
Yeah. And I know that you have an opportunity coming up to share about this process. Perhaps maybe we're putting in a request to present this information at the PEDRA conference. And then of course I hope that Dr. Coughlin or others will share kind of a full circle moment on this project again at our conference in Orlando coming up in 2026. So we have about a year now to do further research and get more data and continue this process. What do you see as some of the outcomes that you hope to see from as we get more data points? What do you think some of the outcomes could be, Kim?
Yeah, absolutely. So when we were looking at the survey, some of the main key feedback that we got from doing the first round of getting that preliminary data in, we were trying to accomplish 3 main goals with this first process. And that was to see if Nevis owners really found that their Nevis skin was more or less fragile compared to their non-Nevis skin, and then determining the extent that those injuries differ. And then we also wanted to see the impact on one's lifestyle choices, and then also the impact on one psychologically and emotionally. And we were able to get, thanks again to the Nevis outreach community, 46 responses. We found that overwhelmingly they said Nevis owners reported that their skin is more fragile than non-Nevis skin. And so just being able to have that data, that's something that we can present to the scientific community and see if maybe we can go into more of a bench research project to see exactly how this is happening. There are a lot of theoretical ideas out there as to why this may be happening, but we don't have any concrete data to show that, yes, this is happening, to really push forward to figure out why. And so that would be one main goal that we have moving forward. And then also maybe looking at other ways to protect the skin. So also in the survey, we talk about if there's an impact on lifestyle choices, about physical activities one chooses to or not partake in because of the impact on nevus skin, or if they choose different clothing because of their nevus skin tearing. And so having that data too will give us something to report upon to see if it would be more beneficial, maybe invest in some more um, preventative measures to protect the skin.
Yeah, more protective measures for sure. And I know a lot of times wound care kind of overlaps with that because if it does tear, what's the best way to dress it and all that kind of stuff. So we normally have a wound care. Well, I think it was last year that we had a wound care session for the first time. And so I hope we can expand that. I know there's some external partners that are particularly interested in wound care as well. So I'm really hopeful that we'll see some cross-pollination in those projects as well in the future. So thanks to this data set. So Kim, I just again really appreciate your work in this process. Is there anything else you would like to add?
I want to say just likewise, Lauren, Stephanie, the entire outreach, Nevis outreach community. Also, just a huge thank you for Nevis outreach community for trusting us to begin these projects and for working with us as we continue to learn more. We're really excited about this project moving forward. We're grateful that we have the data now to continue to use it. And like Lauren said, there are more ideas coming on the horizon, and it couldn't be done without you all. And that's a big blessing to us.
Yeah, and I'll be the first to say that if you haven't, completed your the NOR registry, we'll have a more in-depth campfire chat on that in a couple of weeks, and so stay tuned for that. And all these surveys that come your way, be sure to. Membership is usually the best way that we push those out right now. Hopefully, we'll have some more different segmentation choices for people in the coming. Um, it's a long-term goal. We're working towards it incrementally, but we are really excited because we know that there's such a hunger, I guess, for more research to be done on why do we have the whether it's the more fragile skin, or in the case of what we're studying with the transdermal water loss, drier skin or itchier skin, all those ways that the skin can present during with CMN, like we really want to understand the why and the what can we do about it with all of those things. And this is just an incremental step in that direction. So we really appreciate your support, Kim. Thanks for joining us tonight. And thanks to everyone online for tuning in.
Thank you all so much.